Hello, this is Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. In my quiet time this morning, I was reading through Luke chapter 17, and there's a story that's told there of an encounter Jesus had with 10 lepers. It's a story I've known as long as I can remember. I've heard preachers preach on it. I had it taught to me in Sunday school by youth ministers and others. Heavens, I think I've taught on it probably more times than I can count. But it really struck me this morning. And let me tell you why. The story is there were 10 people with leprosy, and Jesus encounters them, and they ask Jesus for healing. And as the great physician, Jesus heals the 10. And as he does so, under the Torah, the Jewish law, when you're healed of leprosy, you're supposed to, or recover from leprosy, you go show yourself to the priest, and the priest made the determination of whether or not you were accepted back into society and whether or not the leprosy was really gone. God had set up the law where lepers or people with a contagious skin disease were quarantined from the rest of the community to stop it from spreading. And so quarantining for a disease is nothing new. God set it out over 3,000 years ago. So anyway, there they are, the 10 lepers, and they come back, or they get sent by Jesus. One of the 10, realizing he was healed on his way to the high priest, or to the priest, one turns around and comes back to Jesus and says, "Thank you." 1 out of 10 says, "Thank you." Think about that for just a moment. 10 and one has, as Pastor Stephen Trammell calls it, an attitude of gratitude. One of them comes back praising and rejoicing God. And Jesus says, "What's going on? Didn't I heal 10? Why is only one coming back?" And the reason this story struck me fresh this week is because I realize it's one thing to know the story. It's one thing to have the story taught to you, to teach the story. It's a whole nother thing to live it. And I readily confess, I have not had times of praising God and thanking Him for so many things that I should be thanking Him for. For me, it just seems to come in circles. There are times where my heart's overflowing with gratitude, and there are times where it's just, it's not in my conscious mind as much. Oh, I'm thankful for the food I eat. I'm thankful for my family. But how often do I find myself praising God for those things and thanking Him? Jesus had a half-brother named James, and James wrote one of the books of the New Testament. It's a book called James. And in the first chapter, he says that every good and complete gift is a gift from God. There's nothing good we don't have that God didn't give us. The air we breathe, my beating heart, my family, my friends, a life of community with other believers. Heavens, the internet, the chance to talk to you via video feed each day. There are so many reasons I have to be grateful to God and to praise Him. And so I invite you to join me right now, and before you do anything else today, just pause and think of 10 things to thank God for and praise Him for. And let's not thank Him for 1 out of 10. Let's thank Him for all 10 together. God bless you. I'll talk to you tomorrow.